I'm sure most of you older Mercedes diesel owners are going to recognize this part right here. Yep, that's right. It's a glow relay that is used in the glow plug systems. These started showing up in 1978 in the 300 SD. And these are great when they're working. You know, they'll automatically glow your glow plugs and they'll shut off after the engine starts, and they'll heat it up to a certain point and shut off. But as they age, they can become problematic. And a number of years ago, by the way, this is what I call the kind of unique glow relay that was used on the 1978 to 1980 300 SD, and it was used in the W123 chassis in 1980 only. So there was just kind of a 3-year period that this relay was used. It's different than the newer ones after 80, from 81 to 85. These are no longer available, and when they were extremely expensive. So this was the relay that prompted me to come up with an inexpensive solution. And that's what you see right here. This is the Mercedessource glow plug override kit installed in this 1980 300 TD wagon. So it started with these years when I couldn't find good relays. And as we got into this, we realized, man, this works great in all kinds of old diesels. All the way back in the late 50s, right up to 1985, you can go in and install this override system, and it will give you a manually operated pre-glow heat system. Now, some might say, well, yeah, but that's not automatic. You do have to use a push button on the dash, but I'm sure there's a lot of you, particularly in the cold climates. I know some of you are laughing, thinking, yeah, I glow my car about 3 or 4 times, and I turn the key off and glow it again, and finally I fire it, because when it's sub-zero, you've really got to get those glow plugs hot. And when you have a manual relay override, you can push the button on the dash and hold it as long as you want. You know, you don't want to hold it too long, or you burn the glow plugs out. But you can also keep holding it even after it starts to get the engine to run smoother and cleaner much more quickly. Well, that was one plus. The other plus was, once we got into running waste vegetable oil in these old diesels, particularly on a single tank system where you actually started up on vegetable oil, this becomes almost a must, because the factory glow relay doesn't work very well. It doesn't glow long enough, and it doesn't keep glowing long enough after you start. So this has been one of our most popular kits, by the way. One thing I need to say, this is very important you understand this. This kit will only work if you have the pencil or parallel style glow plugs in your engine. Those first showed up in the 1978 300 SD, and then they showed up in the 1980 123 chassis. Those are those little glow plugs that have a long point, and they're wired in parallel. This system will not work if you have the old series loop style glow plugs that you saw from the 50s right up to 1979. But we have conversion kits for most of those models. You can pull the old series glow plugs out. You can put in the newer, modern, fast pencil glow plugs, and then you can install this relay and put the push button on your dash, and you've got a wonderful system, a much more reliable, a much faster system to get your old diesel running. So our kit comes, it's not difficult to install. I have complete instructions including schematics, so even if you're kind of new at automotive electrical, you should be able to install this yourself. You can probably, enlist the aid of a friend who is, up on electricity to help you install this. But once you get this installed, it makes a huge difference, particularly on the old series type engines, 1979 and older, when you couple this relay with those modern pencil glow plugs. Now, if you have, for instance, let's say you have an old 240D, a 115 chassis where the old pull starter is not working right. You can actually bypass the pull starter, install this, and put the newer style pencil glow plugs in. What a difference. Instead of waiting 20, 30, 40, 50 seconds for your glow plugs to get hot, 10 seconds, they're up and running, hot, and that engine will fire. And you can keep the button on. Like I said, you can keep the button on even after the engine starts to help burn out that, excess fuel and get that engine running smoother and cleaner more quickly. So if you're interested in doing one of these conversions, I have lots of help on my website and resources in our kit, and that's something I would highly recommend that you consider if you have one of these older Mercedes diesels.